Okay, so let's talk about Terrifier 2, which is currently making the rounds on the media, and not just the online media, mainstream media. I think that's such a crucial thing to remember, especially if you're online and you always see like certain things popping up and trending. You would automatically think that this is something everybody's talking about, but for the most part, it's not. And that's not bashing online media or anything. It's just like mainstream media really gets the rounds. Like, I'm talking about when you see something trending on Twitter or anything like that, it kind of feels like the whole world knows, but then you go and ask like your family or close friends who aren't really online or following the same things as you, and they're just like, what are you talking about? No, Terrifier 2 has gone on to the mainstream media where even your family knows about this film. So let's talk about what they're saying and how this is something great for not just Terrifier 2, but the horror genre in general. So before we get any further ahead, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell. We're currently running a giveaway, so make sure you're entering by subscribing, hitting that notification bell to know when the giveaway ends as well. And the way to enter is just comment below you want to enter the giveaway, or check out our giveaway video and go get some more entries over there, because there's another way to get more entries, but that's on the giveaway video. So let's talk about Terrifier 2 and how it's making its rounds and what this could mean for the future. So Terrifier 2 came out of fans. That's pretty much its basis, honestly. If you look at it, this was crowdsourced and they really made it happen with a very low budget. So the first Terrifier came in at a budget of around $30,000 and it did pretty well. It got really, really popular and sort of like this fever online of people wanting to see more of Art the Clown. Then we got the crowdsourcing for Terrifier 2, and they came in at $250,000, which is a huge amount of money. I know it's a lot of money, but at the same time, it's still not a lot of money compared to all of the other tentpole movies that come out around this time. Like, take Halloween Ends, which was $20 million, and other films that are at least $1 million that come out in theaters. And you know that Terrifier is like an underdog going into this as well. Well, first weekend, we crossed $1 million with Terrifier 2. Second weekend, we're over $2 million now. So we've hit 10x this like budget they started off with already. And the director has already talked about more movies on the way. For sure at Terrifier 3. And I think the way that Terrifier 2 ends, you for sure want to see what happens in 3. I want to talk more spoilers for it, but I think I'm going to wait till more people actually get a chance to see it. So stay tuned for that video. Hit that notification bell to know when it drops on my theories and thoughts of what's next for Art. So now we have Art the Clown pretty much dominating the box office comparison to what other movies are doing, where they might have doubled their budget or tripled or quadrupled. Art's over here like, I 10x'd it. So we pretty much are in the clear to get more movies for it, but I think a lot of it also is that people are calling it the most terrifying, disgusting, vile film out there. And I think that's a stamp of approval for any horror movie, to be called that and to just be one of those movies in the light of The Exorcist, which came out in the 70s, where people were fainting, throwing up, running out of the theater, and just not being able to hang. And I think that's the same thing that we're seeing with Terrifier 2. It's building this sort of anticipation of what is it? What is making people get out of the theater? And as reports have been coming in from Twitter and all around, that people are calling it the most vile film they've ever seen. And if you've seen that bedroom scene, you know what they're talking about. This film has people apparently throwing up, as we see people claiming on Twitter. It has people running out of the theater, people passing out, and it's sort of having this hype and momentum that I don't think we've seen in a horror film in a while, where it's pretty much being talked about like on CBS, US Today, and a lot of these other mainstream outlets that you pretty much would wonder, damn, this is really getting out of hand. And I think that this next weekend that now Terrifier has been extended into is going to be a tell-all of how much of this media frenzy talking about Art the Clown is going to affect the box office as we go, because I think the more that people are trying to figure out what this is all about, the more they're going to be curious, the more they're going to be like, well, I think I could handle that. Let's see what this whole like hype is about. And I definitely think a lot of people are in over their heads if they think that, because I think that Terrifier 2 really pushes what you would have thought a horror release could have when it comes to theaters and all of that. Like, yes, there's horror that's done all of this as well, but usually you see those go to streaming or direct to video and all of that. But to see that in a big theater full of people and all of that on the biggest screen possible, you're just like, how did they even do this, you know? And so that's a lot of kudos to the directors, the producers, and everybody else as well involved in this, who have a lot of sort of loyalty and belief in Art the Clown to do this. I definitely do believe that Art the Clown is going to be one of those horror icons in a couple of years. In my opinion, he already is. But I think as we see this sort of go along further and further down the years, we're going to look back and see the beginning. Like, we're currently in the beginning of what Freddy was at a point, what Jason was, what Chucky was. And it's going to be interesting to see how this will all be looked back upon. And we know as we go further and further down, more and more we'll be pushing the envelope. But I think that overall this is a great sign of horror. 2022 has just been one of the best years for horror in my opinion. And it will be looked back upon. We're all going to look back upon this year as one of the years that cemented horror more into the mainstream and made it popular once again. Horror had been sort of at a crucial point right now. I think in the early 2000s into the 2010s, we saw an emergence of horror, and then we saw it come back down, and then we saw like a little pop of the elevated horror, if you will. That term's been thrown around so many times already, but we saw that little pop happen, and that little pop, I think, was making people sort of like, horror is getting a little stale because it's trying to be too deep, and it feels like all of these movies are trying to borrow from that. But now, I think with movies such as this year that were very much so standouts like Barbarian and Smile, I think that we're seeing horror really try to take bigger swings and try to be different again, and try to be this thing that's not really pretentious, but at the same time it's not trying to be too dumb either. It's just trying to be something that's like in your face and pushing the genre forward. But I don't know, man, getting too deep with it, and I'm doing the elevated horror thing again. But my opinions still stand. I think that Terrifier 2 will be that movie that pushed the genre forward, and it's exciting to see. So let me know your thoughts and opinions on it down below. What do you think about all of the news that's covering it currently, and what do you think is going to be the future of Art the Clown as we go further into this box office that just has been insane, record-shattering numbers for the movie, and just a sort of thing that I don't think none of us expected, honestly. So let me know your thoughts and opinions on that below. But anyways, check out our other videos we did today. We did a video on The Ring. We did a video on VHS 99. We also have our podcast coming out tonight. And it's the 13 days of Halloween. So we're going to be talking horror movies all throughout these 13 days. Until we get to Halloween, we'll have a big live stream and all of that. And that's the day we'll announce the giveaway winner as well. So make sure you're entering by subscribing and also commenting below you want to enter. But as always, that's going to do it for me. Click that notification bell to know when these videos drop. You have until October 29th for the giveaway. And as always, that's going to do it for me. We're on the way to 50,000 subscribers. Let's get to it. As always, stay safe, stay positive. Go to cultureelixir.com. Follow us on our Instagram at the Culture Elixir, TikTok Culture Elixir, Twitter is Culture Elixir. And as always, that's going to do it for us. Stay safe, stay positive.